Good evening, all. How are you all? Hope you are safe and staying indoors. And first of all, thank you for joining in for today's episode of Exploring the Magic of Light, which is a partnered event with Godox India Official and Nikita Distributors. So we'll start right away in another couple of minutes. We're just waiting for the mentor to join in here. So definitely, like the people who have attended the previous session would have known like what this session would be like. The last session from Ashim Kumachi sir, like we had a lot to learn about. Like he cleared each and every doubts on lights, like everything, like whatever doubts we had. Like he showed live demos of different lights and all. And definitely, this is going to be another same kind of session where you'll get all kind of doubts cleared on lights, and he will also tell you the tricks where to use, when to use, and how to use different sets of lights in different situations, and what all effects it can create on your photographs. Everything, A to Z of lighting in photography. So this is going to be amazing, and I will start away just after the mentor joining in.
Hello, hi friends. This is Ram Charan. So mentor yet to come. So this he will be there in few minutes. So I am from Nikita Distributors. I am working as a technical expert in Nikita Distributors for Godox products and some multiple products which are uh, distributors. Nikita Distributors are the distributors for all the products. So mainly Godox are the product Nikita Distributors doing. So I like to share some information until Lipya Desai is going to join. So about I am going to speak about products and little general information for the few minutes. So you can ask any doubts in Godox to me in this session or else personally. I will share my contact number to Metas Photo Blockers.
Okay, sir is yet to join now. This is once again I am just telling about myself. This is Ram Charan, working in Nikita Distributors, and I am the technical expert for Godox products and some more many other multiple products from Nikita Distributors. So I am there to clear all your doubts, anything demo and any doubts you can contact me as the technical person to deal with Godox customers. So today, before we start the session with Dilip Gandhi sir, so I'm going to share you some details about Godox introductions and general informations. Like importance of accessories, I want to share this. I like to share this with you because whatever the cameras may you buy, if it may be costlier or very good technology, very
Ramcharan sir, sorry to interrupt, sir, but your voice was not actually audible.
can you hear now?
No, sir, we couldn't hear you actually. Just check on with the audio setting.
Now can you hear now?
Dilip sir, hope you're in, sir,
It's
and
okay
you
now.
could hear me, I guess, sir.
Is it clear now?
Yes, clear.
Okay. Shall I continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's okay. Dilip Gandhi sir has arrived.
Hello. Yeah, you can continue.
Okay, I will speak finally, end of the session. Okay.
Sir, hope you're audible, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, I will speak final session, end of the session because sir is
I
waiting.
got your audio, sir. Right. Definitely. So, Dilip sir, hope you can hear me, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Yeah.
Right, sir.
So, should we start off?
Yes, sir. I will start off, sir.
Yes, okay.
So, a wonderful evening to wonderful people. This is Vishnu from Metas Photo Bloggers, working as a campus ambassador for the last couple of years. First of all, we are very sorry for the delay. Like we had some login issues, and Vijay sir just got connected in. And so a quick brief introduction about Madras Photo Bloggers. We are a Chennai-based photography community of more than 8,500 plus photographers, and we always conduct like kind of like workshops, webinars, contests, and we also do photo walks like in non-lockdown times. And due to lockdown, we are coming up with virtual photo walks as well. So, like, this is an initiative of Madras Photo Bloggers where we wanted to educate people on photography, like the ways they can learn in photography, like not only photography, like we have also conducted like videography workshops and all. And so that's about the introduction about Madras Photo Bloggers. So, and let me take this opportunity to welcome you all to this wonderful webinar. Hope you're all safe and staying indoors. And please get vaccinated, like. On your turn, because it's the smallest contribution we can do to this monster surge in curves. And before we starting on with today's session, we would like to put forward the initiative which Madras Photo Bloggers has came up with. Like it is called the silent way of learning. Like we at Madras Photo Bloggers are aimed at teaching 50 hearing impact students to turn into a professional photographers by the end of 2021. So it's an inevitable initiation. Help us to do that. Like we are open for contributions, and we will let you know what are the things to be needed for the contribution in the comment section. And so on that note, we move on to today's session of the second edition of Exploring the Magic of Light, which is an event partnered with the Godox India official and Nikita Distributors. Like last week, we had the first edition of this workshop, and we had got immense response on that. Like we got Asim Gomache sir, who had cleared a lot of doubts on lights, and he taught us a lot more things. And today we have Mr. Dilip Yande sir. And about the mentor, Dilip Yande is an Fujifilm mentor, professional photographer and a trainer. Like he has an experience of over 3 decades in the field of commercial photography and still life photography. Like he has shot for leading ad agencies and various reputed brands. He has also worked as a visiting faculty a lot of other Pearl Academy and as well. And like he is also an official mentor of Godox India Official and Vanguard and Sekonic. He has also conducted various workshops for Canon and Tamron earlier. Also, he is a freelance writer of photography and art-related topics. Like so, we are honored to have you here, for today's session. Very much looking forward for your session, sir. Over to you, sir.
Hi. First and foremost, let me thank your group for giving me this beautiful opportunity and introducing to so many new faces and fresh minds. See, lighting is something that is the spice of photography. So, how do you define lighting? I always tell that if there is a table, to make a table stable, you need four legs. So, what are the four legs of photography? The four legs of photography are one, composition, second, lighting, third is styling, and fourth is the color harmony. If all these four are in place, then your table is stable. That means your picture, whatever you're shooting, is correct. It will be a good picture. So, secondly, people have a wrong notion as to it all depends. The whole subject depends on what kind of equipment you have. Or some people ask you, what is more important? Is it the photographer who is important, or is it the equipment who is more important? So I always tell them it is both. You understand? It is both. How? Let me give you an example. There was a famous Italian composer by the name of Paganini. And Paganini was once walking through the streets of Rome when he saw a beggar playing a violin there. There was something haunting in that violin, the tunes of that violin, that captured his heart. He just waited there, he listened to him, and then requested the beggar to give that violin to him for some time. and Paganini started playing the violin. He closed his eyes and, being a true music lover, just simply went into a trance. And he was just with the violin playing those tunes for more than an hour or so. So after his symphony got over, he opened his eyes, he found that the roads were packed with people. In those days, they used to have go with horse carts. So those horse carriages, the people in the balcony, people on the terrace, and all around, it was all packed. They all applauded, they clapped, and threw down money. He simply picked up all the cash that was thrown there, handed it over to the beggar. He gave the violin to the beggar. The beggar was not knowing who this person is, and he just left. Now, the place is the same. The violin is the same. This time it was Paganini who played it. Now, there is one more thing you understand. Paganini did not request every beggar to give that his violin. There was something in that piece which which the beggar was having, that enticed him. So, moral of the story is that it is that device, it is the equipment, and it is the person behind the camera who are equally important. And that is how photography is all about. Now, let me do some presentation to you so this is exactly what I said. What is more important, the equipment or the photographer? It's the both are equally important. Now, many people should understand that if you want to learn lighting, don't go on looking at the menu which is there. You have to concentrate on the light that comes out of the your light unit and falls on the subject. Lighting is all about shadow play. You understand how you bring out the molding, how you bring out the separation of the product or the subject, whether it's a portrait or it's a fashion, from the background. Where do you create the highlights? Where do you create the shadows? It has to be a perfectly balanced thing. So a right question to ask me would be, how did you manage the lights? Where did you put them? A wrong question is, which light did you use? Which light is good? And exhibit detail, please. No, exhibit detail is absolute spoon feeding. See, you have to remember that in nature, there are only three kinds of lights. One is a small source of light, the other is a medium source of light, and third is a large source of light. Okay, so what is a small source of light? 1 minute. So a small source of light is the sun. I'm not talking about intensity wise. Understand one thing. Small source of light is, how big do you see the sun? You see it the size of a pea. So in a studio, it is a bare flash, a grid, snoot, spotlights or bulbs. In nature, it is sun. You have to understand one thing. Smaller the source, harder the light. Larger the source, softer the light. Now, what is a medium source of light? Medium source of light in nature is a window light, which is, say, the window which is there in your living room, very soft. It's a small soft box or a medium sized soft box. It could be a beauty dish. It could be an umbrella. It could be an octa. It could be so many things in a studio. And what is a large source of light? Large source of light in nature is a cloudy sky. From one end of the horizon to the other end of the horizon, you have the whole sky filled with clouds. That is a large source of light. So in a studio, a large source of light is a big recta light or a para, octa, or even a bounce light. Okay, a ceiling bounce. When you purchase a light, all you have to, instead of cramming the watt second rating, like this is a 200 watt second rating, or this is a 400 watt second rating, understand what is the guide number of a flash. This is very important. Don't focus on watt second rating. That is energy output. It's never the power output. It's energy output as per physics. Okay. So what is a guide number? Guide number, take the f-stop reading at 10 feet with a flash meter and keep the flash meter at 100 ISO. Say it is f22. Then the guide number is 22 multiplied by 10, that is 220. So 220 becomes the guide number of that flash. Now remember, a guide number always has to be measured with the normal reflector on that. You don't have to put the soft boxes or anything or the diffusers. So now that you know the guide number, you will ask me what is the use of it. Yes. And now if you wish to know as to what would be the reading at 20 feet when fired at full intensity on manual mode, then 220 divided by 20, that is 11, your reading will be F11 at 20 feet. So once you have a guide number in your hand, you know what are the exact f-stops with a naked flash. That is how you can do your calculations if you're shooting a wedding and you're using a hard light. If you're using a soft light, always remember the stops are going to fall because you have a diffuser. It's going to reduce the intensity of the flash coming out of the light and falling on the subject. Okay. Whenever you purchase any light unit, what do you see in the light unit? You have to see certain properties. Light output of a flash, its guide number. Second, whether it has a TTL function and a high-speed sync. Third, consistency of the flash output and the color temperature. You know, some cheaper units do give a color cast. Take care that you should not buy any cheap units. You should have a flash unit which gives you good consistent output and color temperature. Sturdiness, how sturdy your unit is. Okay, this is very important. The range of modifiers that can be used. See, Godox today is offering a huge amount of light modifiers. You first have to understand, see, that's a separate topic in itself. I've taken a full day workshops only on modifiers. There is a big confusion in the market and amongst the newcomers as to where to use a square 1 meter softbox, when to use a rectalight, that's a rectangular softbox, when to use a beauty dish, when to use an octa, and when to use a deep octa, and when to use a para. Okay, there's a big confusion. People generally, they follow what somebody is using, and that somebody first influence is the bigger studio next door. He has purchased 2 octas, so I'm going to purchase 2 octas. I'm not going to fall short of my equipment. So people, they don't reason themselves that, hey, maybe I need 1 octa and I may need 1 recta. No, they're not going to reason themselves. Because he has purchased 2 octas, I'm going to purchase 2 octas, which is a very wrong policy. You understand? Physical quality of the modifiers is very important. There are a few modifiers which start peeling after you use them for say 8 months, 10 months, you will find the silver coming out. I mean, what's the use? So it should not be too fragile, and of course the value for money. So these are the most important things that you have to understand when you are purchasing any light. Now let me show you a few examples in lighting. Let me tell you one thing, that people feel that many students come and meet me and they tell me, "Ki sir, I know 3-point lighting, I know butterfly lighting, I know glamour lighting, I know clamshell lighting, okay, and I know angel lighting, I know Remra lighting." To cut the story short, he feels and he tries to tell that I know lighting. Okay. Now, hello, hello.
Somebody scribbling on the
Exactly.
screen. We don't know who that is.
Okay.
The admin, please check who is scribbling or they may be using the pad and I
Sure,
don't
sure,
know.
sure. Let us check on that. Give us a minute.
Yeah. Can I continue?
Yes, sir, you can, sir.
Yeah. So you have to remember there is nothing like 3-point lighting system. Yes, it is there, but at the same time, it is not there. To get certain discipline, to understand the fundamentals, know these terms, practice these terms, learn them, and then unlearn them. The method of unlearning what you have learned is the first step to progress. If or otherwise, for years, you just keep on doing the 3 light system, I mean, the 3-point system and all that, you're not going to reach anywhere. You understand? Never look at the lighting diagrams, look at the subject. Okay. Now let me start from a very difficult lighting and then start coming towards the lesser difficult ones. Before that, yeah. Uh, Now, how do you select a location? You will say that there is no light, I mean, there is no flashlight used over here. No, there are flashlights here. But how did I first choose the location? There is a simple formula which very people know and very people use and hardly would tell you. The formula is that sun rises in the east, sets in the west, but when it travels from east to west, takes a dip in the north. You understand? Sorry, it takes a dip in the south, not the north. From east to west, when it goes, it takes a dip in the south. A result in any of the season, it does not take a dip in the north. Therefore, the north light is a consistent light. It is never hard in any season. And that is the very reason I have kept the name of my studio is Northlight Studio. So when I see go to check out any location, I see what I get from the north. You understand? How many things, how many backgrounds are north facing? If not, then if it is east facing, I shoot them. I prepare my table as to this is east facing, this is west facing, this is north facing. So the north facing can be shot anytime during the day. East and west have limitations. You understand? So this you have to keep in mind. Now, I had planned I mean, I had asked my client to send the pictures of that location. Accordingly, he sent me, I asked the directions because it was far away from Bombay where I stay. Now, I have used one fill-in, just one fill-in, okay? A 600 from my left-hand side with a huge white umbrella, bounced it. I have put the camera, the light on TTL mode, the trigger on TTL mode, and I have taken the shot. So it has just acted as a fill-in for the image. The shot was taken around 3:34. And can you see one more light? If you are observant, you will see that behind the head of this model, there is a highlight. This highlight was caused by a smaller softbox on another light which was handled by my assistant, and he was standing behind the door that you're seeing on the left. Angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection, the basic fundamental of physics. Remember that? He was there on the left hand side, behind that door, and he was aiming that on the brown, this paint, which was a matte finish paint, and that is why I got the separation of the head from that background. Now, check this out. Location is the same. It was the same, I'll say, bungalow or a old Haveli, which we had hired for the shoot. The time right now was somewhere around, you can say, 5:30 evening. So the sun, and it was December. So the sunset is much early than in summer. So I was getting, the twilight hours, I can say, were approaching. I started with a big para on my left side. Okay. Now this is where you have to put the light with the maximum intensity that you have. It was here, left hand side, a big para that was, I have lit up the entire figure of the model, and whatever that you see with that big para, wherever the light was falling, I allowed it to fall. Now comes my second light. Can you see this pillar right hand side? I used another light which had a metallic umbrella, that silver umbrella bounce. I wanted a semi-soft light. Reason being that there is a texture on this pillar. I wanted that texture. So it was a semi-soft light. A semi-soft light is achieved by bouncing it on a silver umbrella. Okay. Now, even if you observe it, the top side is darker. This is whole darker. Can you see the cursor, my cursor? Okay. And the right hand side is more lit. So there is a vignette. There is a light to dark happening on this pillar. It's not a flat pillar. Now this is well controlled by what we call as feathering of a light unit. It's not necessary that the light unit has to be banged flat and straight onto the subject. You can use the fall of the light also on the corners, and that is what I have used. I used the fall of that light, fall of that umbrella onto this pillar. That is known as feathering of the light. Therefore, I can see the vignette. Now, there was a third light behind this pillar. This was bounced on the ceiling here, up on the top. It was bounced there and gave me an overall fill. And that was the very reason, if you can see this brass box, it has got a good highlight just because of the bounce of the ceiling. Fourth light. Can you see the hair of this model? It has a highlight. So next to this light was another light. This was positioned in such a way, it had a honeycomb grid on it of a smaller size. I could lit up the hair of the model. I got this highlight because of that fourth light. So this is my one light. This is my second light here. Third light is the one that is bounced, and therefore I got the top of this jhula. Fourth is the highlight on the hair of the model. Okay. Now is the fifth light. Can you see?
Excuse me, sir. Sorry to stop you over this.
Yeah.
Sir, like you will have an option like an eraser at the bottom. Like you can erase off those markings in your screen. So only you can.
Yeah. Okay. 1 minute. But I'll have to go back there, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So, can you see this jali behind? Huh? So behind the room, behind that jali, so there is one more light, which has a grid but of a bigger size. So first light, second light, third light, fourth light, fifth light is the one falling from inside the room onto that jali, giving me a dimension. Now, this cannot reach the hair of the model, and that is the very reason, or even if it reaches, it's going to give me the texture of the jali on the body, even if it was to reach, suppose. So that separate highlighting of the hair was needed. Okay. Now, next to that is one more light which has lit up just this wall that you see from inside. Can you see that? So jali is separate, the background is separate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now seventh light is, you can see this painting. I want to show what is there inside. Now if I give this exposure to the light behind this and which is falling on this painting here, then it will look pretty flat, very artificial. I want a dimension. It's a room that is there inside. So it has to be underexposed than the reading on her face. Maybe at least 1.5 times underexposed. So accordingly, the intensity of the light was adjusted and the light was fired on this. Now comes one more light. So that is the 7th, and the 8th light I have used a recta. Now why a recta? Is because what is my subject that I'm lighting? It is this wooden door that I'm lighting. What is the shape of my wooden door? It is rectangular. Therefore, I have not chosen a beauty dish. If I had chosen a beauty dish to lit up this, okay, then I could have got some very disturbing curve on the surface of this Haveli door. So you can see the size of my highlight will tell you the size of my rectangle. So on the, this is lighting. Okay, so please rub off everything what is there in your mind, like yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
sir, we could hear you, sir. Hope it is raining outside, sir.
Beg your pardon?
Is it raining outside, sir? Like
No,
we got a text.
no.
Okay.
No.
Great, sir. We can continue. Sir.
Yes. So check this. Now what I have done, as I said, it's around 4:30. Okay. I've used an AD600 Pro from the front, kept it on TTL frontally and on the right side. Okay. So I have, even in that, I've slightly controlled it that it doesn't give me too much of light on it. You know, with that small plus minus, I've controlled it to what I wanted. Now, if you check behind, can you see this coconut leaves? Now, this front end, I have used an AD400, which was maybe around 100.
So you haven't, sorry to interrupt you, sir. You haven't selected the picture yet, sir.
No, it's their full screen. It's full.
No, sir.
Can you make it bigger?
This is on.
Yes, sir, we can't see, only we can see the thumbnail.
One minute, I'll stop share and once again I'll share it. Let me see.
Select the picture from it, sir.
Can you see that now?
Yes.
Sir.
Clear. Thank you.
Huh. So the AD600 was has played from the frontal. Can you see the backside? There are those coconut leaves. an 8400 without any diffuser was put on those leaves at the backside. They were about 100 feet from me. Now understand one thing, that this is 4:30 evening, so somewhere the sunlight is going to be there. So to replicate the sunlight, I have to use a beautiful game of soft light and hard light. So the moment I use a hard light, you feel that there is a sun falling over there, sunlight falling back. That is my 8400. Now in this behind you will see this arch. Okay. Inside one of the pillars of the arch, my assistant was hiding with an 8200. Okay. And he was bouncing it on the wall. So this white wall has been lit up by an 8200. So this is how the whole lighting was.
Yes, now it is visible, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You can see now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now check this lighting. First, catch light in an eye is very important. Okay. Now that is what I've achieved. Both the eye has that catch light, it has a life. The previous shots, they were much more, I mean, it was more of an environmental portrait, you can say. Well, this is a much closer one. Now, I have used 3 lights in this. One is an AD600 Pro, which is from here. I've used an Octa. I have cut the light. You know, I do a lot of light cutting, basically. I may have one light and I may have 5 to 6 cutters to that light. I don't use a modifier as it is. I remodify and modify. I may keep it half open. I may keep double diffuser. I may keep triple diffuser. I may keep the grid half on it. It's all on what I want the light to do when it falls on the subject. There's no hard and fast rule. Okay, so if you can see, since she is wearing a black glove, it has to be slightly over highlighted. The black cigarette holder has a highlight on it. While the fur below goes in the darkness. So the light has passed maybe possibly through 2 more diffusers when it has fallen on this fur jacket here. Now she is wearing the tsunami cap, very stylish Victorian. There is the black. I need the black details. Okay, see, I've got the black details. And still this is a low resolution image. I've used AD400 on which I put a deep octa, but a smaller size. So I can control it, the fall just to the place I want. At the same time, I've used black flags to cut the unwanted spill of the light on the ground. Behind this, you can see there was a curtain of my green room. So my assistant put was holding it with his hand, again an AD200, and he was bouncing it through the curtain on the glossy floor. So this highlight has burnt the whole thing over here. Because of that, the lighting should not break. You have to understand one thing. The lighting has started from this cheek. Okay, it has traveled here to the full face. It has given justice to the. It has given justice here. Okay, and the backside, it has. It's merging with that white. So the light has to be very unidirectional. Even when I'm letting up the other thing, any other subject, I'll give an example to you. I'm coming to that right now. Okay. There are no 2 suns. Remember that. There is only one sun. So how, if somebody looks at the shot, he will say that this must have been shot at somewhere like 12:30 noon. But no, that 12:30 noon I have created inside the studio. How did I create it? Now this was a straw mat. I positioned a light behind. I have opened the light fully. There's no modifier on that, no diffuser. It is fully naked. It was bounced onto the mat over here. ठीक? Now, after that, if you see, this is that chula, where they cook in the villages. So a spotlight was put on that from the top using a boom stand, and I'm lighting up this chula, and you will find very little smoke still coming from here, just to give that feel of the sunlight, to catch that sunlight there. Now, where do women sit and clean this rice? They generally in the villages, they sit near the entrance. So the entrance, if the sunlight is from behind, the entrance has got to be a soft light, because it's absolutely the other side of the sun. If I put a hard light from here, it will give me the appearance of two suns, which is very unrealistic lighting. Okay, so I've used a soft light with a softbox from here onto her face. But if I'm using it from here, if you can see the shadows, read the shadows, that means it is much on the higher side. Then this would have gone dark. For that, I've used a floor stand and another light with the small kits of, you get those small soft boxes in the market. So I've used that very small soft box onto here. Same thing on the rice. And that was the very reason I could catch those grains of the rice. Then so that is one light, second light, third light on the face, fourth light over here, fifth light is on these curry patta and whatever these leaves that I've kept, so curry leaves. Dark green always has to be overlaid by 1 or 1.5 star. So I have used a grid and I have overlaid than what the reading of the face was. So that one light, second light, third light, fourth light, fifth light, and then there is one more. Can you see the highlight on the feet over here? Can you see my cursor? This is another light which I have used from inside. I've done a very heavy cutting of that light, and I've just lit up this curvature of the foot and this side of the sari. Okay. Now take this. You'll feel it's a very natural light. This was shot at around 12:30. This is an outdoor shot. Okay. I have used two lights. My fill-in is an AD400 Pro from the front with a recta light. Sorry, with an octa. And to show that things must have bounced, since this is soft light from here, I have to create a sun there. Actually speaking, the sun was on the top. You understand? But to give justice to the left, the soft light falling from my left, I have used an AD200 on a handheld boom, and that 200 was falling, giving me the highlight here, giving me the highlight here, and all I have burnt the seat slightly, so it has given me a very natural feel, as if sunlight is coming from there and the bounce light is falling on her face. Okay, this is how you have to do the lighting. Yeah.
Good to go.
Can you see the image now?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yeah. See, look how controlled the lighting is. My key light, I have used a small deep octa on a AD600 Pro, and I have lit the face. Okay. There were lot of reflectors kept, thermocols, to get the gold, for the gold to look that yellow. That kamar patta, can you see? if it were, it's full gold from here to here. You can see it as gold. That has been achieved by a series of thermocols, okay, which were naturally bouncing the lights. Then there was a cutter which cut the unwanted spill on the body. Straight now I see the feet of that model. One of the thermocol, I bounced a spotlight on it, and that spotlight was falling on this, a bounce spotlight. Understand? I'm not putting the spotlight directly on the feet. I'm bouncing the spotlight on the thermocol and it is lighting up the feet. Then there is one light from here lighting up the gramophone and the drape on that. So this is how this particular lighting was achieved. Now let me come to what we call as a you can say situational light, the way like the one I showed, the rural, the same way. Suppose now this was a session, it was a workshop I had conducted for showing. Now let me tell you first thing is whatever shots I'm showing to you are not just merely my portfolio pictures, they are academically rich pictures. I've selected not just to show you some beautiful women and handsome guys. I'm showing you something that has an academic value for you to learn the lighting. Okay, now check this. I wanted to take a portrait of a youngster, college going guy, and he is trying to study. Okay, he's doing his studies in the midnight. So how do I do the lighting of the midnight? Either I should have a table lamp here, or the table lamp is positioned up, some light is positioned up. So, I mean, whosoever is mother or sister, whosoever are sleeping, they should not get disturbed. That is falling. So that is the one light which is bounced on this page. And this page is acting as a reflector, bouncing the light to his face. You understand? That is one light. Second, now he's doing a study, so he will be needing some good hot cup of coffee to drink to keep him, fresh. So this mug, we were heating the cup again and the content again and again, pouring in it. The second source of light was to get this smoke. Third source of light was, you can see the highlight and the edging of the cup. Fourth source of light. Now this is a tungsten light. Now you can say an LED, continuous source. I should not say a continuous source of light, because suppose he is studying inside. What about the street light outside? Some street light is going to enter the place. So either it is a sodium vapor lights which we have in Bombay, or a tube light. So generally in Bombay we see the sodium vapor lights which are yellow. So I used an LED which is yellow, used a gobo in front. This cut the light, and these are the streaks of light. Then there is another light with a blue gel to define the night and falling over here, the cut light, also on the black shirt over here. And then there is one more light which is so well controlled that I can see the bottom of this diary which he is reading. Understood? So this is how that day I had, how many assistants to control this light? I had 11 guys to control, to cut, to reflect the lights. That is lighting. Now there is something very interesting that I want to show you. Yeah. Can you see this light? What time you feel this must have been shot? You're bound to say that this photograph has been taken at 12 noon, 12:30 or 1 o'clock or 1:30. It's hard light over there. I'm sorry, this has been taken in the twilight zone after the sunset. Okay, how this was done, I'll tell you. Here there was another room. There was a staircase next to that. I used one light, and I had a powerful light, a 1200, with which I totally washed the interior of the room, giving a feel that perhaps there is a terrace over there. If you shoot somebody here and if there is a terrace and it's 12 noon, I know that you will be getting the entire terrace washed off. So that is what I have shown to make it realistic. Okay, that was totally washed up. Now another light was positioned from behind this wall onto a reflecting the silver umbrella, which was handheld. I'm not using the umbrella on the light. My assistant is holding the umbrella in his hand, and the light is bouncing on the silver side of the umbrella, and he's turning the angle of the umbrella so that I get it is falling here. To get the texture, as I told in the first shot, I need semi-soft light, not a very soft light. So I'm using a semi-soft light to get this exact detail of his kurta, it was a sherwani he's wearing. Okay. And then a soft light to lit up his face. Now check this. This is a total lighting demonstration. If I show you, you may say that this is a night shot. Okay. If I had it was planned last moment because of the request done by some of the students. So I was not carrying a blue gel. If I was carrying a blue gel, then perhaps it would have given a far more authentic look. That the bluish thing would have made it look like a night. Now check this. This you will say is again the twilight in which you put the yellow light, you put the oil lamps inside the house. Okay, so the first is this, second is maybe 1 hour or 45 minutes before that shot, when you just put those oil lamps. Before that is this shot, this time. Before you put those oil lamps is this. Okay, and before that is this. You will say that this must be 334. I'm sorry, all the 4 shots were taken in a span of 20 minutes. How much? 20 minutes. So from 3:30 to night, I have shifted the sun through my lighting in just 20 minutes. It was a rapid, all the students wanted to, they had requested me that they wanted to see something of this sort. So I created the whole thing and I showed them. So this is what lighting is all about. What I love about Godox, I'll tell you. Godox has got a huge range of the continuous sources, the LEDs. At the same time, the studio flashes. At the same time, a huge range of modifiers. Okay. Can you see this? Yeah. I was just going through the market and I saw a gobo of this swastika. So I decided, why not recreate a desk of a Nazi officer? Suppose I want to do a film on Germany, the Second World War. So why not do that? And then I started collecting the props required. So there it is, my Leica camera, and all. These are dummy bullets, this magnifying glass, an old a dummy passport of a Nazi officer, a medal, and this swastika. Now this gobo, I have used an 8300 here. Okay. Now 8300 was put with an SA17. SA17 is like an adapter between the flash, Godox flash, and their projection unit. I use that projection unit and put that gobo of swastika in that. I projected it with an AD300. This blue, can you see, was a result of that M1. They get that RGB M1, okay, which gives you not just white light, it gives you different color temperatures continuous. At the same time, it gives you the red, the blue, and the green, and you can control the saturation, you can control the hue of the output. So I controlled it to the thing I wanted. Then I took an S30 and I have lit up this section of the lens with an S30. Okay. Yeah. So S30 is a continuous source of light. I put those small bandos and I could control it here. So this is AD300. This is M1, the blue, and this is my S30. You can see what I like about AD300 Pro. I mean, I'm simply in love with that light. Is you can change the modeling lamp, the color temperature of the modeling lamp. Now you will say, what is the use of it? It's of great use when you're shooting tabletops, you're shooting food photography, you're shooting portraits, say, of small children. You know, you don't want the chubbiness. I mean, it's a fair child. You don't want this whole thing, the chubby cheeks to get burnt. You know, you don't want it to look too white. Then change it. Don't keep it on 5,600. Get it to 3,000 or something, and you will get a one. Look at this. Okay, you see the color cast on the musical notes. Okay, the paper of the musical notes, that book. Can you see the difference? This and this. Look at the binding area. This is much more blue. This has a warmth, and this has a total warmth. All three shots taken on AD300 Pro with the flash only by changing the color temperature of the LED unit. So this is why I simply love this light. Now I used whatever degree Kelvin I have light, the setting of my AD300 Pro on this setup. The blue once again has been achieved by M1, and this couple has been the boy and the girl. They have been lit up by the S30 from the top. So this is it. 1 minute. Yes. Now, does anyone want to ask me some questions? Hello? Hello?
Sir, there is a question from
Yeah.
Deepak Singh which he has posted in the chat box,
Yeah.
and he wants to tell you about like FK400 versus Godox V1. Which one is the best?
See, V1 is an on-camera flash. Okay. SK400, okay, it is that studio light. It's off camera, right? Deepak? So those are two different games altogether. It's like what exactly and where exactly you want to use. Kunal, no, what exactly you want to learn about the linearity of the light? Could you simply, which, hello?
Yes, sir. And there's one more request from Sapna. Like she wants to see the 17B slide, sir. The image which you have shared previously.
She wants to see the
Slide
image.
number 17.
1 minute. Huh?
Yes.
Larger the source, this one. Is it this one?
17B, sir, he told.
Okay. Yeah. See, now we have, in this case, we have calculated, as I told you, that suppose the guide number of the flash is 220. That means at 10 feet, 100 ISO, I got a reading of F22 at 10 feet distance from the flash. At manual mode, full output. So 22 multiplied by 10, that is 220. My guide number of the flash becomes 220. Now, the guide number of a flash doesn't change. Remember that. My subject is at 20 feet. Suppose you are shooting a wedding and you're taking a group shot. So you are say 20 feet away from the group shot. And you know you have used one light which has a guide number of 220 when operated on manual mode and full output. Therefore, 220 divided by 20, that is how much? You're getting 11. Right? So F11 should be the reading that you have to keep on your aperture ring to get the right shot, to get the right exposure.
Right, sir. And the continuation to the previous question, which was posted by Kunal, like he wants to know about the linearity of lighting,
What exactly?
with specific to the image of an LRD with the tsunami cam.
See, it is this way. There should not be a jump. Okay, one month. Let me. Yeah. There has to be a smoothness. Let us talk about the. I can see there is somebody called Sanket Patil over here. Okay, just just see the thumbnails. There is Sanket Patil over there. Just observe his face. Can you show me the thumbnails again? I want to explain that linearity. Hello?
Yes, sir. Are you not getting the thumbnails?
Yeah, no, I can't see the thumbnails.
Okay, just a minute.
1 minute. Yeah, now I got it. Fine. Can you see that one person by the name of Sanket Patil? Can you see my cursor? Can you see my cursor?
Yes, sir, we can.
Study his face. There is a red at the backside. Okay. The red has traveled. There is a break of blue, but the source is red from there. And that bluish red has given a cast over here on the face, traveling to the blue and ending in that blue. This is linearity. If you take a jump there, you will get a light, but it is unnatural. To study the linearity of a light, you know what is nobody has taught me lighting in my life. Let me tell you, I've learned it. But to understand and study, the best place is to go in a bus or a train. Sit in a train and keep observing the face of the person who is sitting in front of you. Observe how the light falls from the right hand side or the left hand side or from the window, when it is hard, when it is soft. Suddenly you'll find that it's hard from one side and there's a white wall outside the train, and that is reflecting, and you get the face gets lit up. Then there's a streak light falling on the wall of the compartment, and then there's light falling on the hair, and you learn all the lighting. Observe nature. Linearity of light is being true to the light that you see in normal life. Don't take jumps in the lighting. If there is a highlight here, okay, then the light has to fall when it goes away from it. If you are adding another light source, then it has to be hard, or it's like you're showing an interior. Then it should justify maybe a fireplace which is lit. What is the source of light that is lit up? You can't do a Diwali. You can't place light anywhere you want. That's wrong. You'll be happy, but you'll be sad once you learn what is lighting. Yeah, sir, can you explain again the north and the south location formula for outdoor sunlight shoot? Understand, Arpit Agarwal. This is the sun rises in the east, sets on the west. While traveling from east to west, takes a dip in the south. If this is east, this is west, south will be here and north will be there. Remember. So it is going to take a dip this way and going this way. So from there, I'm getting only reflected light. So anything, if my model is facing the south, you understand, she or he will always have a hard light somewhere during the day. If the model is facing this way to the north, then no time there will be a hard light falling on the face, because the light has gone this way. It may fall, but like a cut light. You understand? Or a top light. That is the very reason north facing flats are far more cooler than south facing flats. You can ask this to maybe an architect and he'll tell you. And
very well said, sir. And we have one more question on from Swaroop Banerjee. He uses an Godox DT585 with Sony A7 M3. Okay. And he faces a half-second delay in camera shutter after he presses the shutter button, it seems.
No, there is check out in the menu. There is a delay shutter firing. Okay, in the menu of the light. Please check that whether you have to keep it. You'll have to untick it. Otherwise, you can delay the shutter by some fraction of seconds. So you have to check the menu of that.
Okay, sir. That might have been benefited, I guess. And one more question popping up from Mohan. And the adjustment of color temperature can be done in post-processing too. Could you please tell us what would be the specific reason for adjusting it on the light while shooting? What is the difference?
A lot of difference. World of a difference. See, because when you're doing adjustment in post-production, you are adjusting the entire picture. Okay. While when you're doing a post-production, you're controlling the color temperature of one light. You're controlling it, that one light, not the 6-7 others. You understand? I learned these techniques from cinematographers. I had gone for a shoot of one Australian cinematographer, and he was shooting an ad of an engine oil. Okay. The shoot started, they had created a dhaba, okay, on which the trucks, the lorries, they come. Sardars, who are the truck drivers, they get down. They do some masti and order some bhajia. They eat, they drink lassi, and then they have a competition. Hello? Can you hear me? So
yes, sir, we can, sir.
Yeah. So they do the masti, and then they have a competition of the drinking the lassi. The one guy wins the match, and they again do a masti. That's it. And this was related to the oil consumption of the pumps and the motors and etc. etc. The concept was that. Question is, the shoot started, you can say the arrival of the trucks on the dhaba at 8:30. Okay. The Sardars getting down, doing the masti, coming to their seats, ordering those bhajiyas and the lassi, they all doing the masti. Then it's not a cricket match to happen full day. It's just a masti, which can get over in half an hour. How much does it time I mean take to do drink lassi? 45 minutes maximum. The last shot of the ad film took place at around 6 o'clock or 6:30 in the evening. First shot was at, you can say, 8:39, and the last shot. So the sun has traveled from 8:30 in the morning to 6 and is going to set. The entire film was edited into a 30-seconder and then a 20-seconder. Okay, and you will believe me, you will say that the whole whatever thing you have seen has happened in 20 and the 30 seconds and not in the full day. Because the way the sun, factually the sun went on traveling, he went on changing the main lights, the filling, and you will not say that there is a jump in the lighting. And he was controlling every time you're taking the color temperature. See the white balance, a color temperature even of the sun is 5600 degree Kelvin when it is on the top. You can say from maybe from 10 or 10:30 or 11 in the morning till maybe 1 o'clock. After that, even the sun, as it starts setting, starts getting warmer used to the whole thing. So you have to control that. To bring it in a 30-seconder, all the lights, whatever you're changing, have to be controlled with filters, Roscoe filters, which they put on the lights. So it's a different game altogether. So doing it in Photoshop is a very amateur thing. I mean, professional to touch it on a Photoshop for correcting your mistake is an insult. You understand? You don't know photography. You can use it to enhance your image, like the picture which is there at the backside. Okay. I have used, I think I shot it somewhere at 6800 degree Kelvin in the menu. So I'm getting very warm picture. At the same time, I used a used diffuser on the softbox. I don't throw a use, the older a diffuser, the warmer it gets. So use an older diffuser. Therefore, I'm getting that warmth. You understand? Further, to give a little impressionistic values of adding the green, boosting the cyan in the shadow, that I can do in post-production. That is fine. But achieving the whole thing, I mean, tomorrow your client will say that even I can do. Why do I require you? Yeah. Any?
That's a very clear explanation on what the in light setting can do, sir.
Can I? This
yes,
gentleman, Kunal, he wants that 4 shots showed. See, you should have been there to actually see the lighting, how the whole thing was changed. But I will show you one video clip. Okay, if I can share that video clip, you will understand that even without, I'm letting an interior. Okay. But I am not using any diffuser. I'm only bouncing and using the straight lights. But see, I am shooting it at 8 o'clock, between 8 and 8:30 in the night. So it's all dark. And I'm giving a feel of 9:30 morning. See how I have done it. Okay. One second. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen?
yes, sir, we can.
Yeah. This is a 2-minute clip. They can just have a look at it. Hello everybody, this clip shall be my last clip in the series of bounce and direct lighting. But it certainly doesn't end the techniques one can exercise. I started with the flat lay, covering an area of 2 feet by 2 feet. In the 4 clips that followed, I showed a different approach to the subject in each of them. This time, I have an interior of over 40 feet in length. Take a look of what I'm doing now. In the normal course, it was lit up by domestic sources like tube lights, LED bulbs, tungsten bulbs, etc. etc. Shooting with these on at a lesser shutter speed would register the respective color temperatures, giving a different color cast in every part of the frame and yes, a night feel. I wanted to create a morning feel of 9:30 a.m. while shooting at 8 p.m. after sunset, and all this with bounce and direct lighting. Let me first establish the direction of sun, the left side being an entire wall. There is no scope for the same. Lighting up the whole thing evenly would make it flat and boring. I have to create a dimension, a depth, a drama through lighting. This is where you need a flash meter. Measure every quarter and make sure that it's not the same reading. Half a stop difference is hardly noticeable in an interior shoot, specifically when the walls are light in color. Set the values much apart. This time, let me show you the use of a bare flash head from the kit of 8200 Pro. I'm setting it here, allowing it to bounce on the wall and ceiling. And this is how I went on adding the lights, set at different values. And the results are right in front of you. Finally, I said, let there be light. For the next option, I have just shifted the position of even. The rest of the lights remained where they were. With this clip, I end my first over of 6 clips. Yeah, so that's that. Any more question?
Sir, Sumit wants to sum up the 4 legs of the table once again.
What is it?
The 4 legs of the table.
Yeah, see, to make a table stable, you need 4 legs. We all agree, right? Because 3 legs would be little dilly-dally. So what are the 4 legs in photography of that table to make it stable? 1 is the composition. Second is the lighting. Third is the color harmony. And fourth is styling. Okay, how you style the shot. Now let me tell you, people think that lighting is very difficult. I always tell everybody that the easiest thing in the whole is lighting. You make it difficult. Lighting is the easiest thing because you have seen light right from your birth and you are making it difficult by using different terms. And you get you simply get wiped off in the technical jargons, which you should not. See the light that comes out of the unit, not what you see in the menu. Remove that. You understand? Secondly, composition is the most difficult thing. Why? Let me tell you. We all have 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth, and 2 ears. But look at the billions of faces that God has created. They are all in the same place. And there is a good face, there is a bad face, and there is somebody who's beautiful. And why beautiful? Do you have a reason? You don't have. You can't say that big eyes are beautiful. the Japanese women also look beautiful. So there is a good face is a good composition. A small change of your eyeball from here to here would make the person kana, right? So it is very adamant. It has to be precisely controlled, and that is composition. Color harmony is very, very, very important. Many people, many youngsters have a bad habit. They will turn every photograph into black and white. And then the beggar on the street starts looking beautiful. A dry leaf that has fallen on the rock also starts beautiful. And they feel that they should give it to some exhibition. And then they find that they haven't got. Because there are 10 people who have shot old people like that in Kumbh Mela, made them black and white and sent it across. So color, we can talk about it. It's a color theory. You should know what are primary colors, secondary colors, tertiary colors, quaternary colors, cool color schemes, pastels, warms, what are advancing colors, what are receding colors. Till you know, you are not going to get a control on color. If you don't get a control on color, the shortcut is to make it black and white. That's what people do. Black and white has to be that short where the graphic elements of the black and white are very high. It has no place for color in the same. Black and white shot is that shot which has no place in color, place for color in the same. A good black and white shot, there has to be a good graphic designer for it. And for a good color shot, there has to be a good painter behind it. And that is the difference between a graphic designer and a painter. You understood? Any more questions?
Sir, I guess that's it for today's session, and we'll wrap it up right away. And thank you so much, sir. We had a lot to learn about lights, and we happened to learn from the core of lighting, not just like what are the tricks and tips we can use. We happened to learn from the core of lighting, and you had a very practical and you broke it to the simplest of forms so that all can understand, right from amateur to experts. Thank you so much for joining.
I'll just end it with one line which I tell my every student. Okay, it's a quote by Lenin. You know that theory and practice. Okay, theory without practice is lame. Theory without practice is lame, but practice without theory is blind. So that fundamental and the theory is very, very important. And it has to be put into practice. Thanks a lot. So let's hope we do more sessions with you.
Everyone will remember that final last quote, I guess. But before wrapping up, I would like to hand over the session to Ramcharan sir from Nikita Distributors to sum up the session.
Yeah.
Ramcharan sir.
Dilip sir, very thank you so much. It's an excellent session.
Thank you.
I saw that you are using both lights, yes, like also flashes and also some continuous lights together.
Correct.
It's the work of your output is very good, sir. Your session is very good. I think it will be more useful to the audience today.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to share some information to the audience to buy the products, guidance, everything. So today you have seen Dilip sir session. I think it will be very much useful to you, all the people. You have seen that sir used flashes and also LED lights, continuous LED lights, combining both together for his photo shoots. So these products are from Godox. If you have any queries for Godox lights, any technical queries, you can contact me. I will share my number to you. And before buying any Godox products, just make ensure the warranty is available for the products or not.
because buying a costlier products in cameras, everyone will check out whether there is a warranty for cameras or not. So likewise, accessories also very important, and very good quality, which is very important in photo shoots, where we seen in this session. So before buying the Godox, any Godox products, just see the backside of the sticker or logo is there, like Nikita Distributors is there. You must check it with dealers before buying, whether the warranty will cover or not. So there are more service centers in all over the India for Godox service centers. So any technical queries, anything, you can contact me. I will share my number. Is anything else, sir? Shall we end the session?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Ram Charan sir, for that briefing about the like Godox slides and all. And like before wrapping up the session, I would like to make two announcements from Madras Photo Bloggers. The first one is that like the monthly photo contest, which is in partnered with Vanguard India, has been extended till the date of 15th May. And if you have not yet participated, please do participate. And you could win an amazing camera bag from Vanguard. And secondly, like as I said previously in the like in the introduction, like we at Madras Photo Bloggers are initiating an charitable initiation where we are training hearing impaired students to get into an professional touch in photography. And it will be definitely possible with all your supports. And we are currently open for donations on that aspect. And we'll post the donation link in the chat box where you can contribute to this initiative. And thank you so much for all joining in today. Thank you so much, Dilip sir, and thank you so much, Ram Charan sir, for coming in to make the session wonderful. And we hope that we get more of chances for another session very soon. Looking forward, sir. And thank you so much for all joining in, people. Stay safe, stay indoors, and get vaccinated as well. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.